All right, and we will get started. Good evening, everybody. Buenas tardes. Buitirabanweyu. This is the Ranked Choice Voting Training event. And it is for our community, for the Garifuna community. So Garinagu Unite, thank you for joining. We do have Spanish translation available, and you can just select the icon on the bottom of your screen. It looks like a globe, like a little circle, like a globe, and it says interpretation. Tenemos interpretación en español. Hay un botón, se mira como un, se mira como un, I don't even know how to say the word because that's why we have a Spanish translator. But I'm so happy to have you guys here today. I'm going to share my screen right now so that we can get it started. Yes, yes. Oh, we have a few more people joining. All right, now, so I'm going to share the screen. All right, so thank you for attending the Garifuna Community's Ranked Choice Voting Information Session. We have a few community leaders that will be joining us today. Okay, and so here's an overview of what's going to happen. We have Zoom instructions. We're just gonna tell you how Zoom works, just in case you're new to it. We're gonna introduce our speakers and panelists, and then we will have a demo of our CV with Sami, who is from Rank the Vote NYC. And then we are gonna end with Q&A, so any questions and answers that people have, and then we are going to close out from there. All right, so while someone has a mic, everybody, we just want you to make sure that you have your mic muted when other people are speaking, and you can turn that button on or off. It looks like a microphone icon on your screen. Any questions or comments that you have throughout the event, you can put them in the chat, or you can hold them for questions and answers at the end. And yeah, that's it for that. All right, so I'm going to start introducing our speakers. My name is Syria Alvarez. I am the founder of the Garifuna Market. I also work with Althea Stevens as her deputy campaign manager. Althea Stevens is running for city council in District 16 in the Bronx, which has a huge population of Garifuna people. So as a community leader, I am very passionate about our Garifuna culture, and I'm still learning a lot about our Garifuna culture every day. But I am very happy to work with our community and people in our community to learn more about our culture, to learn more about our traditions, and to highlight and share that on our online platform. And with that, I'm going to introduce Belinda Lewis. She is the host of Hablando con Bilile.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Belinda Lewis. I am the creator of Hablando con Belili. It is a platform that is making a social impact among the community multiculturally. And also, I am a Garifuna organizer. I am proud to be a Garifuna, and also proud to be in this platform today representing my culture. Itarala.
Thank you, Belinda. We also have Cecilia Brooks. Can you say a little bit about yourself, Cecilia?
Hola, hi everyone. I'm here thanks to wonderful partnerships and friendships. Thank you, Celia. Wonderful to see some familiar faces. So I am born and raised in the Mont Haven community. I live on the same block right now as my parents, my high school, my middle school. So I love the South Bronx, and I also love being Garifuna. For me, I've always looked for ways to honor my history, connect with my neighbors here in New York and in Central America. And our history is just so colorful. So it's something unique that I love sharing with other people, where we come from and where we're going. So most of my time is spent on Keeping It Bronx, another platform and a tourism blog on a few different channels, Instagram and Facebook, to share positive histories, stories, and experiences across Uptown, which for me, I include Harlem, I include the Bronx, a little bit of Westchester. And I did that out of the pandemic to help us find a sense of home here. So even when we can't go to Central America every week or every year, we could still find our own stories, and we can find our own sense of community. Pleasure to be here.
Amazing, thank you. All right, so Althea will be joining us towards the end of this call because she is on another call. So we will begin soon. So as you know, this event is called the Ranked Choice Voting Training Event. And so Ranked Choice Voting is a new method of voting that's coming to New York for the primaries, which is June 22nd. And those are the positions that voters will be electing will include the mayor, the comptroller, the borough president, and the city council. With Althea, we just thought it'd be a great idea to share information about ranked choice voting. The individuals on this call do not necessarily endorse Althea. This is something that we're doing collectively to inform the community. So the people on this call today all find it important to embrace and recognize our Garifuna culture and its representation, as you know. And so because there's such a huge population of Garifuna people in the Bronx, and being a part of the Garifuna culture and the Bronx community, it was really important for me to make sure that we had an event for our people. So whether we're from Honduras or Nicaragua, Belize, Guatemala, or St. Vincent, you know, we're all in this together, and it's very important for us to hold each other down. So with that being said, we're going to now transition into the demo with Sami Disu from Rank the Vote. Thank you, Sami.
Thank you very much. Just feel a little compelled to introduce myself just a bit. It's really an honor to be here with you. Sami Disu, I consider me an activist in New York City, immigrant rights. It's one area where I've been active, and I'm somewhat familiar with the history of the Garifuna people all over Central America. It's not just Honduras, as I once thought. And so I'm also always learning something about this culture, and I find it fascinating. I will begin this presentation, which should be about, let's hope, 10 to 12 minutes, with a couple of minutes of question and answer at the end. So please keep your questions to the end. I'm just remembering that I should speak slowly as well because there is translation going on, and I'll try and be mindful of that. I am dropping into the chat a link I would like for everybody to go and participate in this mock election as I begin, just to for you to see what the mechanics around the ranked choice voting system looks like. So you can proceed with that with your rank properly. I will also share my screen at this point and we can begin this. So why are we even talking about ranked choice voting? And this is not a system that's coming here. It's already here. Ranked choice voting is the new system that has been in effect since January of this year. So ranked choice voting is here. But how did we get here? To make a long story short, we used to have a system whereby for a race like the mayoralty, like the mayor's race, if no one wins enough votes by a margin of at least 40% minimum, then there would be a totally different election held called the runoff election. And this would be held on a separate day. These later elections tend to be very lowly participated. Turnout is very low and so very expensive for the city for a few people to vote, so to speak. So that's really begun this whole debate about changing the city's system to make it more cost effective, as well as give voters more opportunities on the ballot. And in 2019, so that's roughly 2 years ago now, voters passed a referendum question. There was a question for voters on the ballot related to ranked choice. And voters overwhelmingly voted to approve ranked choice to become our voting system in New York City. That's why we have a new voting system. That was approved by about 75%, if I didn't say previously. So other reasons that that really make ranked choice a significant development for our city elections is that the city has a very generous public matching system. As a candidate, you raise $1 and the city will match up to $8 if that dollar raised is eligible. And so that has encouraged a lot of people who otherwise wouldn't run to start running. Okay, that in addition to a change we made in our law about 15 years ago to limit the number of terms a city council member can sit. And that's where most of our elections on the city level are. It's the city council, all those 51 city council seats. We instituted term limits for them. So that combined with this generous public matching with the city has just made our elections become much more vibrant over the years. Also, under the current system of voting, sorry, this is not the current, this should be actually changed, but under the previous system of voting, so before January, our city council members could win their seats with as little as 20% of the vote, just because that 20% was the highest vote share of any of the candidates. And that was a difficult picture to say it's democracy in action, because maybe only 20% of voters in that election voted for the person who won. So this system improves upon that limitation. And how? By requiring all of the winning candidate to win with at least a simple majority, which is 50% of however many votes that are cast by voters, plus one, a simple majority. So that's a new situation.
Sorry to interrupt, Sammy. We can't see your screen.
Let me stop sharing again.
No problem.
And let me share. Do you see it now?
No, I think you're sharing the whiteboard instead of the browser.
Let me try that again. You may be right. Okay. So you can see it now?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, so we now have a situation where with this new system, the winning candidate, whether you're talking about the mayor, or the public advocate, the comptroller, or the borough advocates, or borough presidents rather, or city council, they have to win by a simple majority, okay? And this system is already here, as I was saying. Since January, this system is in effect. And I'm going to show this in the mock election slide we were just talking about, but there is a runoff built into this new system. So if no one wins or captures the minimum number of votes to win in any of these elections, the city does not have to hold a separate election at a separate date. It's built into this system. And that's where the second, third, fourth ranked rankings on your ballot come into play. So as I was just saying, the significant change for you as a voter is when you go to the precinct to vote, your ballot is now going to give you the opportunity to rank up to 5 of your most preferred candidates. And there will also be a write-in option at the bottom, just as in the previous case. These are some important dates to keep in mind. I'm going to go right quickly through it, and I can show it at the end again. The last day to register to vote is coming up. That's May 28th for our state. Last day to change your address is June 2nd if you already are registered to vote. Early voting begins, I think, literally a week from now, almost. Just more than that. And that's June 12th through June 20th. That would all be early voting in person, period. Election day is Tuesday, June 22nd. And polls are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. This is how you should be approaching your ballot with this new system. You rank the first candidate, and this person is the one you really want to see win. This might be a candidate you really love, or even you think is most likely to win, but your most preferred candidate is your first candidate, first ranked candidate. Your second candidate is the next person you would be fine winning if your first candidate were to be eliminated. The third candidate, the fourth ranked, the fifth ranked, in according to your preference. So with this system, Just don't rank somebody you definitely don't want to see win in that election, if that makes sense. Only rank people that you are supporting to win in that race. There's a quick video I am going to share. And did that play?
Hi, I'm Mahir, and welcome to my bodega. As you may know, New York City has a new way to vote in special and primary elections. So, how does ranked choice voting work? The next time you vote in a city election, instead of choosing just one candidate, you can rank them all from your first choice to your fifth. Here's how it works. Let's say my
Not showing.
is featured snack of the month.
Oh.
So many choices. Which one should I feature? This customer ranks Parker Pretzels as her top favorite. She also ranks her second choice, Mr. Chips.
Can you see it now?
Third choice, Chi-Chi Chicharrones. Fourth choice, Gladys Gummies. And fifth choice, Puppy Popcorn. Other customers rank their choices as well. If Parker Pretzels is the favorite choice and wins more than 50% of all the first ranked choices, then Parker Pretzels is the winner and is featured as the snack of the month. However, if no snack gets more than 50%, then the least popular snack is eliminated.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, Figgy Bars. The remaining second-ranked choices from customers who chose Figgy Bars are redistributed. So,
okay, I am going to walk you through this. Actually, we can go ahead and look up that mock election I was showing you. Let's proceed with that. It would be a better use of time. Are you able to see my screen?
No.
And
No.
now you can?
Yes.
I think what's happening is it goes into screen saving mode and automatically pulls up screen. So please let me know as soon as that happens again. This is basically another election, right? You were supposed to pick your rankings on noodles. So I'm doing that at this point. That's 5 different rankings in 5 different columns, as you can see. Why is that not submitting? So what did I do wrong? That's what I did wrong. So this is an election, and let's start with the full raw numbers of number of voters. You see there are 626 voters in this election. And so what is 50, a simple majority to win? That is 314, right? 313 plus 1, that's your simple majority. So what happened in round 1? This is election day, in other words. Nobody achieved this 313 plus 1 number to win outright, although Japanese ramen was leading, right? So we're proceeding to round 2, and you're going to see that the person with the least number of votes, which was beef noodle soup, gets eliminated, and their votes, the voters who had voted for beef, have their votes go to their second ranked candidate. That's all that's happening. Because their first ranked candidate, beef, has been eliminated. So this process goes on. In round 3, who's going to get eliminated? Chow Fun, right? And so on and so forth. The votes get redistributed to their next ranked candidate who is still in the race. You have a situation here where in round 9, we finally have, it's actually, okay. Round 9, we finally have 315, which is enough to win, okay? I would very quickly bring your eyes to the exhausted votes. This is basically telling us that by the time we got to round 9, there were 44 voters out of those 626 who did not participate in picking this winner. Their ballots had already been exhausted. In other words, maybe they did not rank up to 5 candidates, and the election, as you see, drew out all the way to round 9. Okay. We can go back to our PowerPoint and finish up. So this is a closer representation of what your ballot will look like on election day. You will have the race listed on the top, and you should rank only one candidate within each of the columns, okay? So you pick your selection, and if there is also this write-in candidate spot at the end in case none of the candidates appealed to you, which can happen. So just recapping some of the information. The counting rounds only kick in if on election day, and we're also adding the early voting period, right? June 12th to 20th. But if nobody captures a simple majority of the first choice votes that are cast, then we are going to proceed into the ranked choice voting, or the instant runoff part of this election. The official winner will not be declared until all votes are counted, including early election day, affidavit, and absentee votes. And in this sense, keep in mind that this new system does not differ at all with the old system. In the old system, we never had the official results of the election on election day, right? It was impossible because we had to wait for all of those absentee ballots to be mailed in. And in the pandemic, we are doing that more, right? Mail-in ballots. And so it took weeks before even we got an officially certified election result. So that's going to be the same situation. Ranked choice voting is actually today, we got news that the system, the computer system, the tabulation system has been approved by the New York State Board of Election. So that's all going to take place, that the round by round, if the election proceeds to rounds, it's going to happen within a computer right away. So just keep in mind, ranked choice voting system does not add to the time. We always had to wait a couple of weeks anyway, and that's going to be the same situation because more and more people are voting absentee, and military ballots also have to come in, which is at least a week after the election. I'm guessing I'm running out of time, but it's okay. We are at the end. Just some more important highlights of this system. More choice is more power, right? Previously, you could pick one candidate on your ballot. Now you can rank up to 5 candidates, and that should just help you understand that your voting power on that ballot, the new ballot, has improved by 5 times, right? At least you have an increased likelihood that you will pick the eventual winner compared to the previous system where you would select only one candidate. I will focus maybe on the last point. Ranking a second, third, or fourth or fifth choice will not hurt your first candidate. Remember that the second, third, or fourth, or fifth ranked candidates matter only if your first ranked candidate has been eliminated already. So those are backups for your choice to win that seat, if you will. Some of the questions we get a lot of is, how many candidates can you, as a voter in this system, how many candidates can you pick? You can pick up to 5. You don't have to pick more than 1, right? You could go into in the booth and not see any candidate and not vote. That's up to you. But you can rank up to 5. You don't have to use all of the rankings. It's very important to note that picking the same candidate or ranking the same candidate more than once does not help that candidate. You're basically wasting ranking spots on your ballot. We have talked about this. So at this point, I will come to an end. I'm going to leave this up just a bit, but Syria, I am finished with the demonstration part of this.
Okay, amazing. So real quick, looks like someone has a question. If the question is directly for, actually, can we just hold on questions? We want to do one more introduction before we move on to the Q&A. Thank you so much, Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I would like to introduce Althea Stevens. She is a city council candidate for District 16, and she's just going to share a few quick words with us.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I'm sorry I was on another Zoom and I jumped on a little bit late, but I just wanted to come on and just say how excited I am that people are on here. And I really believe that it's part of our duties as people running for office to make sure that everyone understands how ranked choice voting works, so that, knowledge is power. I think that, we're at a place where a lot of people still are a little bit confused, and I hope this training cleared up any confusion that you have. And I know we're about to have a Q&A. And thank you, Sammy, for being here from Rank the Vote. They've been doing a great job going throughout the city, trying to train people and make sure that everyone knows this information and has this information, because it's very important. We don't want anyone to feel disenfranchised. We don't want anyone to feel like they don't know what's going on, and to be the most educated when they go into that voting booth on June 22nd. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. I'll be on for the rest of it, so folks have questions directly for me. I'll be here, and you guys can go into the Q&A because I don't want to take up too much time because everybody knows I'm not a big talker. So thank you, and you guys can continue with your questions with Semi, please.
All right, thank you, Althea. So right now we're going to open up for Q&A. Looks like Jerry has his hand up.
Sorry, guys. Let's go on to the presentation, right? If we can go back a little bit, because this is fairly new. How it works in East Coast and was not invited last year.
Jerry, sorry, we're having a hard time hearing you. You're breaking up. Okay. It may help if you turn off your video. He might be joining back again. There was a question in the meantime. There was a question about how soon after you move from the state of New York are you no longer allowed to vote in the state? Is there a particular time frame, or is it immediately after? Nina asked this question. Just to share, Althea responded, you need to register in the new district or state, and each state has a different time frame.
So just to clarify, if that wasn't clear, I was just saying that if you moved out of the state or you moved out of your district, you need to register in that state for that election. So let's say if you moved out of New York City and you moved to Connecticut with, last month, you would need to register in Connecticut and you should not be voting in this election.
So I think there another way to understand that question, or the person could also have had the meaning in the other state, they mean, or voting in the state, they may mean, can they still vote in New York State after they have moved to another state? So that's really, effectively depends on whether you have updated that information at the Board of Election. I guess you'd go onto the website to do that. But I'm not absolutely sure on that. I just wanted to clarify that, because I think you could still vote in the state you have moved from, right? You may, I think you could, but you have to, we need a final answer on that. It's slightly different.
You could, but you're not supposed to.
You're supposed to change your present address to whatever you have moved to. So yes.
Thank you for that. Jerry, you want to give your question another try?
You got it now?
Sounds like it's still, yeah, it's still not working, Jerry.
Could they type their question?
Yeah. Jerry, can you type your question in the chat, please? In the meantime, we have another question in the chat from Eleni. I'm under the impression that RCV is not being used in all elections. Am I correct? Sammy, you want to answer that?
Yes, it's definitely not in all elections. It's just for the primaries as well as the special elections. Those also have ranked choice in effect. So in the general elections, you're not going to see ranked choice. Whoever wins the primaries back in November, those races will not have ranked choice voting. All of the judges or positions that fall under the state that are also having elections will be on a separate ballot for you when you go to vote.
All right, thank you for that. Does anybody else have any questions for any of the speakers, for Althea, for Sammy from Rank the Vote?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to give a special shout out to Belinda and Cecil for being the co-host and making sure that we did specific outreach, and Syria as well. Sorry, Syria, I forgot about you. But you guys, I think that it was really important that you guys highlighted and wanted to make sure that we did a special push for the Garifuna community. Those things are important. And so I'm just happy that, we were able to get folks on, and let's continue to do this work and continue to build.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Isha, who is doing translation in the interpretation room. Thank you, Sammy, Rank the Vote for helping to make this happen. I'm going to drop some links in the chat for you guys as we conclude. Cecilia asked, in some special elections, are candidates who are eliminated able to run on election day? Sammy, do you know the response to that, or Althea?
What do you mean if they were in a special election? They can run again for the primary.
Yeah, so what does that mean? Like, how does it work if you're eliminated and you're still able to run?
Because that was for that election. So the special election is a different election. So you would still have to run for the primary, and you would be allowed, the rankings would happen all over again. So that's a whole separate election.
Got it. We got a lot of questions.
You're not like eliminated from the system, and it's not like, oh, you're eliminated, you could never run again. No, it's just like, got eliminated during that election season. So, there was 3 specials. Sammy, it was 3 or 4, right? It was 2 in Queens. Oh, it was 4. 2 in Queens and 2 in the Bronx.
Mhm.
And those folks, they ran in their special election, and then now they'll be able to run in the primary. And so there might be some uproar where there might be people who lost in the special but might win in the primary. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are people who won the special elections, but who might not return as the winners in the primaries.
they'll
That
finish their term out in December, and then the new person will start in January.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Althea and Syria for making this happen to us, especially for our community. This is highly important. I wish there was more people out here today, but I understand the time and everything. But we thank you from the whole community, diaspora, New York, all over. We just want to say thank you to your platform.
And Belinda, if people weren't here that couldn't be here, they did record it so that we can make sure we send you over the link and send it out to folks so they can watch it on their own time.
Absolutely. And we're looking forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. Like, I've never met you in person, so I'm excited.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes, like Althea said, this event is being recorded, so we will share it with you all. Also on June 2nd, we have a Latinos for Althea phone bank happening, so I'll send you all information about that. And it's been amazing. Thank you everyone for joining us, and have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to everyone. It was very important information. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.